Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
From Ramsey Network, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm Jade Warshaw. Next to me is the magnificent Kenneth Coleman.
Wow. Magnificent and Kenneth in the same sentence is going to be a day.
It's going to be a good day.
Oh.
We're taking calls all afternoon long. Your life, your money. Hit us with all the questions that you have, and we will hit you with an answer, a solution, a way forward, or we'll just spitball creative ideas with you, whatever it takes. The phone lines are open, 888-825-5225. Let's get involved. All right, let's go straight to the phone lines. We got Joe. He's in Anaheim, California. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing good. I've been watching you guys for a while, and I got a quick question. I'm just looking for a little bit of affirmation here.
Okay.
I have a girlfriend of about a year and a half, and we do live together, and she asked me, actually last night, if I could loan her money to pay off a debt that she has on a credit card. So she's about $12,000. About $12,000 in debt.
It's not a little bit.
Myself,
That's not a little bit. That's a lot.
Well, yeah. It's not, not a little bit. But yeah, she had asked me that, and I told her I would call you guys. I kind of know the answer, but
I'll get back to you on that, babe.
Let's put it on Jade and Kenneth to see what.
Sure.
Okay, so it's $12,000.
Wow.
Did you say it's for a credit card?
Yeah, for a credit card, yeah.
And just to clarify, this is a loan. So when you say the word loan, that makes it sound like somebody's got to pay it back.
Got to pay it back, yeah, absolutely.
Ooh.
She had got into a little situation, I guess, with her last partner. He ended up using it without her permission. And that's how she ended up being in that situation.
Can I ask you this? How do you feel? How would you feel being in a position where your girlfriend owes you $12,000?
That's the thing too, because like I said, I've been looking to you guys for a while, and I remember one thing Ramsey says is, dinner tastes a little different, when you're sitting across with somebody that owes you. And I know I wouldn't be the one owing anyone, but like just the fact that that kind of tension would be there, I wouldn't necessarily feel too comfortable with that.
Yeah, Joe, how's that going to feel when she starts missing payments that she owes you? That's got to be weird. Hey, we're going to Red Lobster tonight. How's that payment plan coming along?
But she still got her nails done and still got her hair done.
Oh.
Yeah.
Joe.
yeah.
All right, so
exactly,
can I, Joe, listen, I appreciate that you told your girlfriend you were going to call us, but what was your gut reaction when she hit you with this idea?
My gut reaction was, I'll be honest, I was like, okay, like, am I in a position to do so? Yeah, yes. Can I help her like that? Yes, but I just think like character-wise, I really feel like attacking debt is a character builder too, and I definitely want us to grow in that regard. I want her to take her finances serious too as well.
Mm-hmm. Joe, listen to me, Joe. Jade and I are on Team Joe. Okay. Why don't you stop spinning and just tell us, how did you feel when she hit you with that? Did you want to do it? Yes or no?
I got you. No, I didn't.
All right.
There we go.
I'm with you, Joe.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you're not a
nothing
bad
wrong
guy.
with that. She, I do have more questions just because I want to know, and I want the people to also get a clear picture of this. First off, we're not big on loaning money here, to a friend, to a family member, somebody loaning money to you. Debt in general is just, we're anti-debt here. So now if you called and said, hey, she's asking me if I can give her this money, that might be a different conversation. And you're like, I have it to give, and if I don't ever receive it back, it's no big deal. Like, that might be a totally different conversation. But the aspect of loaning it, you're right, it does put a different taste in your mouth, and it's going to make the whole relationship, the power shifts, right? You become the lender, and she becomes not the lender.
I got to ask a question, Joe, because Jade's here, and I love getting the female perspective on this. Are you worried about her reaction if you tell her? Because I think you called us to get us to go, well, this guy this guy and this gal said this. And are you worried about what her reaction is going to be if you tell her no? Be honest.
A little bit. She can be, she can be definitely emotional, when it comes down to things like that.
Emotional crying or emotional like, I'm going to hit you with this cast iron pan?
Maybe a sandal. I don't know about the cast iron, but she'd probably do something like
sandal.
that.
I love it.
But
I think that's important.
It was just no, it definitely is. I know, like, she's not the type to, like, flare up if you tell her no. But I just wanted to, I just wanted to get, like, affirmation on that, just to say, like, hey, I mean, me being in the position I'm in is because I've listened to these, I've listened to these people, and, I really want to, I'll call them, and maybe they can give you some more clarity too on my standpoint.
Are you going to marry her?
That's my question.
Yeah, that's definitely the plan for sure.
Okay.
Does she know that?
Yeah.
Does she know that?
I wouldn't say that's. I mean, well, we've talked about it, but as far as like a time frame on when we're going to get married, that hasn't been.
All right. So here's the deal. So since you called us, and I know where this is going, you need to give her a legitimate explanation as to why we think what we think, and if you agree with us. So the reason that we want to keep this separate is you two are not married. Now, if you go down to the courthouse tonight, and I'm not trying to get you to do that, but all of a sudden this debt becomes your debt, but right now it's her debt. And the relationship needs boundaries. And this is because you believe in a healthy relationship. And so you need to explain to her that is your debt, not my debt. And the minute that I give you money, it changes our relationship. And I don't want that because I'm looking long term. Did I miss anything on that?
I agree exactly with Ken. There's a protection for both of you, legal speaking, when you become married. And so if nothing else, this is a great time to start that conversation of the define the relationship. Now's the great time to start talking about that. And I think it will reassure her to say, if the time comes and you agree that we should be married, as I believe that we should be married, then I am happy to take on your debt. It would never be a loan. It would be us working together. And, I look forward to that day, but unfortunately we're not there today. I
have a question for you, Jade. And this is for you, Joe, but it's to Jade. I overthink everything. So the giant asterisk here is I overanalyze everything.
Okay.
My brain right now is going, if he says that, which you and I are on the same page, does she put pressure on him to get married? And does this fast forward a marriage proposal? Ooh. I'm a little nervous about that.
I hope not.
Do you see, what would you say he needs to guard himself with?
I hope not. If you sense that now all of a sudden she's trying to, rush you, then I think that could be a bit of a red flag.
That's good, because that's what I want him looking out for.
Now, let me then ask you this question. How long have you been dating? Because if you've been taking her for a ride for 5 years, then she might...
No, it's been a year. It's been a year and a half.
Okay. I mean, in my mind, now's a good time to start talking about it. If she does say, well, Joe, I've been trying to get married for the past, 6 months and you're the one stalling. Like, if she starts saying stuff like that, then you have to be open to the things that she's saying as well. At the end of the day, if you both want to be in a married relationship, make steps towards that. And then to Ken's point, that's when things become one. French. Oui, oui. That's what Dave Ramsey would say. This is The Ramsey Show.
Rachel, do you ever get these sketchy text messages that are like, hey, you need to update your address and verify so we can get you the package you didn't order?
Yes, I have, George. Sketchy, and never trust them.
And that's why we recommend Delete Me. They help with that.
Yeah, they do. Delete Me actually goes in and removes your information from data broker websites, and it is an incredible service that everyone needs.
And there's a lot of shady companies out there that solely exist to sell your personal data to bad guys. And that means your info, like your email address, your home address, your kids' names, your name, everything is just out there for scammers and spammers to find.
So much.
But Delete Me will delete your data, hence the name. It's gone. They'll wipe it out for you so you can sleep easy.
That's right. And then once they remove your information, then they're going to send you a detailed report telling you where they found your information, when they removed it, how many hours they've saved you. I mean, it is incredible. It's so detailed and it's beautiful.
Get this. So far, they've reviewed 27,000 listings on my behalf, removed me from 240 data broker sites, and saved me 77 hours of time. It's incredible.
Absolutely amazing. And Winston and I now get fewer texts, weird emails, spam calls, all of it.
I love it. So you got to be sure to check them out. Ramsey fans get 20% off their annual plans. Just go to joindeleteme.com/Ramsey. That comes out to less than $9 a month. Super affordable.
Again, that's joindeleteme.com/Ramsey. Make sure to check it out, you guys.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw joins me. The phone number is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Let's go to Indianapolis, Indiana, where Zachary joins us. Zachary, how can we help today?
Hi, how are you guys?
We're doing great. What's going on?
So, I'll cut to the chase. Monday, I lost my house in a house fire.
What?
For at least 4 months. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What do you mean at least for 4 months? Was it total?
It was contained to one room, thankfully, but we had a lot of stuff in that room that the room is completely gone. They have to completely gut it and reconstruct it, I guess.
Okay, nobody was hurt.
No,
Okay.
the dog was inside, but
Oh gosh.
thankfully they got him out.
Okay. Whew. Okay, so pup is okay. And when you say it's only one room, is that downstairs, upstairs? What was in the room?
It was our downstairs master bedroom.
Oh, no.
We were actually supposed to sell the house 4 days prior. 4 days after the fire had happened.
Oh my gosh.
But that's not happening anymore.
Right.
So thankfully, like, a lot of my stuff was packed up and ready to go, but like my wife's entire wardrobe, everything, like our bed, our newborn son's bed, and everything is
Oh my
completely
gosh.
gone.
Where were you guys
Yeah.
when this happened?
I was an hour away at work, and my wife was at work.
Oh my gosh. And your newborn son?
He was at grandparents.
Oh my gosh. Thank
Wow.
goodness.
But the rest of the house is okay.
Yes.
So-
My stepdad was driving by when it started to smoke really bad, so he caught it.
What
early.
happened? What caused the fire? Do they know?
It was one of the outlets by our bed. They're not exactly sure, but they think maybe a wire came loose and like touched the insulation or something, or a mouse chewed on it.
Oh,
That
my.
is crazy. Well, I'm so glad
Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
okay.
A couple of
Yeah.
things to be grateful for. Obviously,
Yeah, definitely.
you guys weren't there. Your wife was not there. Your baby son, the dog is okay. My goodness.
And your father-in-law's
And-
driving by.
Yeah, and I love that. And,
Yeah.
and again, grateful that it's just the room. And 4 months from now, you've got a rebuilt master. Now, I know all of the other things that come with that are awful, but all things being equal, this is you dodged a major crisis. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So how can we help today?
So we were planning on selling the house because my wife bought it before me and her were ever together, and it is a nightmare of a house. Foundation issues and everything
Electrical
else.
issues.
Yeah.
So we were really wanting to get out of it. We were buying a new house closer to my parents, and it's a lot nicer house. But
Did you
now
already
we're
make
probably
the
gonna
offer?
lose. Yeah, but we were doing a contingency buy. So
Got it. Okay,
We're
good.
probably going to lose that house now that we have to
Yeah.
wait another 4 months.
Yeah.
We have just started the baby steps. We've got about $85,000 in consumer debt.
Okay.
We don't have much savings, especially after the fire now. And then
Whoa.
What have you
What
what
do
have
you
you been
have?
doing? Yeah.
we just started it, so we had the emergency fund, but now with the fire and stuff,
The $1,000
Yeah.
emergency fund or
$1,000.
okay. So here's what I think. So where are you staying right now?
Right now we're at my parents.
Okay, you're at your parents. You've blown through most of your $1,000. What do you have left?
Right now we've got, I want to say, well, she actually made an extra car payment, so we're waiting for that to come back. But
Okay.
we'll have about 13 in our account, but we have bills and everything. And I do a ton of driving for work, so I have to leave at least $500 to $600 in there for gas.
Okay, so okay.
Is insurance going to cover the total rebuild, or is there going to be more cash you're going to have to come
they're
up
going to cover it, but they are kind of dragging their feet. So
with? Right. Okay.
I think you're a little new to the baby steps, and so I kind of want to
Yeah.
reset and get everything on so that you and I are at least on the same footing kind of going forward. I hate that this happened to your house, and I hate that you guys had a plan and this just threw wrenches all up in that plan. However, in one way, like Ken said, you dodged several bullets here, and I'm going to add another bullet to the list that I believe that you dodged. Now, looking at your financial situation, fire aside, now is not the time for you guys to buy a house.
Yes, I agree.
You know,
I originally wanted to rent, but we live in a small town, and leaving the town is not an option for us because of my wife's work, and that's where our babysitting situation is located. And there is no places to rent that wouldn't be the same amount as what our mortgage was going to be. That has the space for 2 kids, us, and a dog that allows dogs. There was one place that was available, and we applied, and we got denied because of our credit, and then it went off the market like a week later. So to address that, unless by selling this house, let's pretend the fire didn't happen for a minute, unless you were going to have this huge amount of equity that was going to allow you to get into the next house and pay off, this debt or something like that, that would have been the only way it would have worked out. And if you had called us prior to that, I would have said, you just got to keep looking, look for the right rental, because something will come on the market. That's what I would have said to you in that situation. But where you're at now is, okay, insurance is going to cover the rebuild of the master bedroom. You guys are in a place that, hopefully you're not spending a whole lot staying with family, but you are going to spend some, but you've still got, you're still working. So the income is coming in there. We've got to prioritize this debt. And that's got to be the number one thing, because technically, Zachary, when you go to buy a house, you want all of your debt paid off. Then you want to have saved up 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's not talking about a down payment. That's just you having money, when you move into this house. And then it's like, okay, I need a down payment. So you guys were quite far from being there. When you sold the house, what was it going to bring? We were going to get about $15,000 in equity, and then my sister was also going to give a gift for a down payment as well to help us with that.
Okay, and when you got that gift from your sister, what percentage-wise was that going to be towards your next down payment?
We were going to be using an FHA loan, but it was going to be roughly 12 to 15.
Yeah. I think in many ways this was a blessing in disguise, because I think you guys are about to get in way too deep. You always want to make sure that you're putting at least 5% down on a house. You want to make sure it's no more than 25% of your take-home pay. These are the things you want to make sure of. And going forward, now is just not the time. And hopefully what I would do for you guys, if the house that you're in is a nightmare, obviously there's electrical things that need to be fixed. Obviously there's other things. Those are things that you might have to shell out some money to fix in the meantime, because the solution, and Ken, we see it all the time. My car broke down. I'm just going to trade that in and trade up and get a new car with payments, because we don't have the $2,000 to fix it. So we get a $20,000 car, right? And the worst, I said this to Dave on Friday, the worst thing is, and I'm not saying that this is you, but you buy a $500,000 house, but the AC breaks and you don't have $5,000 to fix it, right?
That's right.
Happens all the time. So push pause on home buying. It's not the time. Rebuild, get your life back on track. Get the things fixed in the home that's going to make it a safe place for you to live. And
that's right. And hey, let's look at the positive on this. I think Jade's right. And I think I'm going to give you just a little bit of hopefully a little mindset hack here. You should get a new master bedroom.
Hey.
In the sense of, did you lose some stuff? Yes, that stinks. She lost her wardrobe. That's awful. All those things are just awful. But baby safe, dog safe, you're safe. And you know what? You had a really old master bedroom. Now you get a new master bedroom. And I like Jade's pressing pause right here and just kind of going, you know what? Life just threw us a curveball, but let's hit the curve.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in this baseball metaphor, but stay with me. Curveballs are meant to strike people out.
Come on,
But
Ken.
let me tell you something. Really good hitters know how to hit a curve. And if you hang a curve, these people put it out of the park. They smash it. And I think right now, through the coaching you just got from Coach Jade over here, I think you guys can take this curveball that life threw at you, and you absolutely hit a grand slam and come out of this thing way better off. So please listen to what she said. I think she's absolutely right. And I think you guys got a second chance. Not fun how you got it, but nonetheless, a second chance. So there you go. All right, don't move. She's Jade Warshaw. I'm Ken Coleman. We're here for you. This is The Ramsey Show.
What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 different answers. Economic growth or a recession. Business taxes will go up or down. AI will help us work, or it will replace us all. But there's no such thing as a crystal ball. That's why more than 40,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud enterprise resource planning system. Ramsey Solutions uses NetSuite, and you should too. Whether your company's earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. With one unified business management suite, there's only one source of truth for the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. NetSuite's real-time insights and forecasting help you see into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you can spend less time looking backward and more time focusing on what's next. And speaking of what's next, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. It's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show, where we help you win with your money, win in your work, and win with your relationships. So, hey, we're about ready to get back to the phones, but I want to let those of you know that are listening via radio, we're going to continue with you after this segment. But for those watching on YouTube and listening via the podcast app that you prefer, this will be our last segment unless you move over to the Ramsey Network app. That's where you get the full episodes, the full 3 hours, the only place you can get it, unless you are listening on radio. So just wanted to let you know that. And again, you can check out the Ramsey Network app in the App Store or on Google Play. So check that out so you can get the full show. We got some great calls lined up for the rest of today.
What's Google Play?
Google Play.
Just kidding.
Oh, listen to me struggle. I was like, well, it's a, all right. Andrew's joining us now in Toronto, Ohio. Andrew, how can we help today?
Hi, thank you very much for taking my call. I actually live in Canada, where everything is quite a long ways away. I live in the northern region of Canada, and I drive about 7,000 to 8,000 kilometers per month. And I was wondering, should I be looking at maybe leasing an electric vehicle or keeping my current gas SUV?
Okay. Is there anything you want to add to that? You seem like you're going to say something else.
I was just going to say, because the amount I spend in gas each month is roughly $200 less than electric car lease with the extra kilometers for 80,000 per year. So that's why I thought, I'm usually very against leasing, but I thought, I don't know, is this the one time that there's an exception here? I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I think it sounds like there's two issues here. One is the affordability of your gas, and if you want to lower your gas bill. And the other issue is if you choose to change vehicles, can you afford it? And do you have the cash to buy the vehicle? So let's look at it kind of separately for that purpose. First off, for your gas SUV, what are you spending now? How many dollars are you spending a month to fill it up and do all that?
About $1,280. So that's the average in the past 3 months I looked at.
Okay, and you're saying that with an electric vehicle, you could lower that by $200?
No, so the electric vehicle with because leases usually only go to 24,000 kilometers here in Canada. So buying the extra kilometers, which is 8 cents a kilometer, totals me about $1,400-ish per month for leasing on a 2-year lease. And the reason is because I'm assuming there's no residual value left in the electric car, and if there is, it'd be small. So the warranty is for 160,000 kilometers. And I thought, well, I'll probably reach that within 2 years. So, leasing it over 2 years, then here's the keys, and I don't have to deal with the speculation on how consumers are going to perceive the value of the electric car once it's gone.
Here's the thing. I'm never going to advise you to lease a vehicle, and I'm never going to advise you to go into a car note for a vehicle. For the lease, I'm not going to suggest that because it truly is the most expensive way that you could possibly operate a vehicle. Even though you're like, hey, it's electric, there's, rebates that I'm going to get, all that. When you do the math on how the payment is how they come to the conclusion of the payment, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, this is the most, and I can go over that in a minute. What I would do if I were you, it kind of feels like you're going from one extreme to another. You've got the electric vehicle on this end, but then you've got a gas SUV on this end. What if you had a gasoline car that wasn't guzzling as much gas? What if you did that? So I would kind of advise you to look at your options, but at the end of the day, what's really going to inform this is how much money you have. Do you have money to spend on a new vehicle? And that's really where my mind is.
So I own my current vehicle, and yes, I do. I actually teach corporate finance of all things. But I have enough to, if I was to go into a dealership and comfortably buy a vehicle, I was going to buy a lot instead. But if I have to buy a car with it, that's no issue. But honestly, my current vehicle is fine. It has a lot of life left to it.
Okay.
It's just more of the fact that there's a depreciation expense, right? And there's a gas expense.
And by the way, when you lease a car, the depreciation is built into the price of the lease. Like that's
correct,
built in. So you're not avoiding that.
No, what I am saying is, if I could buy the electric car in cash, except the car salesman said once they're out of warranty, they're really only worth, maybe, 15 or 20,000, in residual value. And he gave an example because he had one that he recently had to buy, and he said it's because consumers don't realize you can, maybe replace the battery, but still it's kind of early. And
to your point, we are seeing. We're getting more and more people calling in saying, "I bought an electric vehicle. It's now barely a year later, and the value has gone down substantially." So there are issues there. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm in favor of you having an electric vehicle. You're just saying, hey, this is what I want. What I'm simply saying is if you decide to do that, I would buy it outright and I would buy it used. I would not lease it. So that would be my advice to you. You're grown, so you'll probably go away from here and you'll do what you choose to do. But that would be my advice.
Okay, and I'm going to stick with my gas car then. The only incentive I thought was the lease payment was cheaper than the gas. But you know what? The way that you
But I don't understand. I don't understand why not even maybe try to come to the States and get a used electric car.
That's what I'm thinking.
Would they be under warranty though, right? And how long do those electric car batteries last in lifetime?
You're asking the wrong cat because I don't want an electric car ever. I'm a classic car guy. In fact, the older the car, the better for me. I'm just being honest. I don't know. I'm asking you. So you came at us with a lease.
Last till about 200,000 kilometers, and then they have you have to pay 20,000 for a new battery to be installed. Right?
Yeah, and Andrew.
Okay, good. So in my asking that, you've given yourself an answer as to why it's not a good play for electric cars in general.
And there's another part of this with the amount that you're driving. And I don't know. I don't have an electric vehicle. I only talk to the only person I know who has one, which is George. And the few calls that come in here about them is the charging. Like there's more to the charging than meets the eye. There's the time.
Yeah.
And then if you want to do the quick charge, that costs more.
Do you know how much a battery costs for my gas car? Why would you buy something? Here's what, and I'm not even, Andrew, I don't even know why anyone would buy an electric car based on what you just told me. Because it's like once the battery goes.
That's that. And you have to know where you can charge it. You're driving long distances. Can it make that distance? Like how many trips can you make per charge? That's the way my brain is thinking. That feels like a headache to me. So as they say on Shark Tank, for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, I love that.
And that means I'm out too. So I was leaning towards keeping the car, but the math was going the one way. I'm like, this can't be true.
Yeah.
Let's call the Dave Ramsey show. But I'm glad you guys agree.
Yeah.
As a society, we really don't know enough about these cars to make a.
Is your car? Are you using your car for your own business, or do you work for someone else and it requires you to do all this driving?
My own business.
So you do you write off all those expenses, or at least every expense that you can. On the car. So that's at least a positive, there's some breaks there about running that through your business, but that's what it is, man. And that's the nature of what you're doing. So you got to build into that. My retained earnings on a business like that would be like car replacement
100%. 100%.
I'd have a line item on that.
Yeah. Car
Are you
replacement.
doing that, Andrew?
No, I usually include travel in with my consulting practice that I have. I usually include travel in the price that I give for the engagement, but
That's
maybe
cool. You
charging
passed it on.
disbursements
Which
might
is
be
great.
a better idea.
Well, no, it's great. But what I'm saying is I would, Jade, you're with me. If you're going to do that, I would put all that money into a car replacement fund.
Yeah.
It is a huge part of your business, my friend.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should be putting. Well, let's just run this through.
the
We got
math
about
out,
a minute and a half. I'm going to give it to the budget guru. So how much money do you pay yourself?
Me right now?
Yeah.
$150,000 a year.
Okay, great. And do you have some margin? I'm guessing you have some margin in the business
Yeah,
after you
pretty
pay
much.
yourself?
I usually keep very little profit in the business to minimize corporate taxes.
Right, but
in
how much
Canada,
money
so I
could you
usually-
put away, real quick, how much money could you put away a month in your business for a car replacement after paying yourself and all expenses?
About $1,500 probably. Maybe
Yeah,
Jade.
do that. That's great. I'm doing that today.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, you've got some margin there. Start putting a car replacement fund in your corporate bank account, and boy, that's going to be great. Good hour, Jade.
Good
Great
hour.
call. Enjoyed that. This is The Ramsey Show.
When you go through a job loss or job change and lose your employer-sponsored health insurance, there's no better time to try Christian Healthcare Ministries. That's right. There's another option besides COBRA to take care of your family during that time. Because if you didn't know, the cost of COBRA has gone up a lot in the past few years. And CHM is an affordable, biblically based alternative to health insurance. So do your own research. The CHM is a great option that's potentially a third of the price of COBRA. It's a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families like yours take care of over $11 billion in medical bills since 1981. And the support you get from CHM goes beyond helping you pay for medical bills. Members become part of a family that prays for them when they have a medical event. Try getting that with COBRA. So if you're going through a job loss, life change, or just want to explore other options to save on healthcare, CHM might be perfect for you. CHM programs start as low as $98 a month. So find out more at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Thrilled that you're with us. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me as well. 888-825-5225, taking your money questions and your work-related or income questions. To that end, the Get Clear Assessment, a tool that I was privileged to create a few years ago. It's helped hundreds of thousands of people, and just wrote a new book called Find the Work You're Wired to Do. Came out a little earlier this year, and it includes the Get Clear Assessment. So what does the assessment do? Well, it answers four really big questions. Who am I? What's my unique wiring? And we're talking about in the context of work. Why am I wired that way? What do I want to do professionally, and how do I get there? And that's what these two tools combined do for you. You're going to spend about a third of your life at work, and I just believe with everything in my being that you shouldn't spend it just doing something that you're okay at or that you're good at, but you don't enjoy, that doesn't produce a result that motivates you. So you can get the book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, and it comes with the assessment, the Get Clear Assessment. You can get it at RamseySolutions.com/store, RamseySolutions.com/store, or you can click the link in the description of the show if you're listening via YouTube and podcast. All right, to Susan is where we're going to go. She is in Dallas, Texas. Susan, how can we help?
Hi. I just went through a divorce or finalized it recently. It took a while. And I've been a stay-at-home mom during my entire marriage for the past 14 years. Anyway, I got what I consider a pretty good amount of money. And I'm just curious. I don't really know what to do with it. I let my ex-husband handle every single bit of finances. I never knew how much money we had or anything. So
How much are you getting?
Well, there's a couple components to it. I got a check for $1.1 million.
Okay.
I got a 401k for $715,000.
Okay.
And then $15,000 per month for the next 7 years.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 40.
Okay. So you've got a guaranteed income for the next 7 years. That's nice. Okay. Okay, great. So tell me your question.
Okay, so my question is, I'm completely debt-free.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't own a home because I just got divorced.
Okay. So you need a place to live.
Right. I'm renting right now, which is $3,600 a month, which I feel like is really expensive.
It is.
It's also all the bills paid. So my question, I guess, is I've got like $95,000 in a high yield savings account. I started a Roth IRA. I'm like totally, I know nothing about finance. So I've just been trying to learn just in the last month or so. Anyway, my question basically is, can I live off of part of this money, like off of the monthly income?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I need to get a significant job?
Well, the good news is you do have a monthly income for the next 7 years. So you've got some time to reinvent yourself and figure out what you want to do with life. And if I were you, obviously you don't need $15,000 per month. To figure out what do I need? What's a fair budget for me? Maybe it's $7,000 a month, and then you take the rest and you invest it every single month, right? So that's thing one. You've been bought time to figure out a career path for you, and I'm going to toss it to Ken in a moment for that. But let's talk about the rest of the income that you have. So let's say, just to keep it simple, let's say you invest half of what you're getting every single month for the next 7 years. So around $7,500, and then you've got $1.1 million. That's a check, right?
Yes. And I didn't know what to do with that, so I just put it in a money market account because I didn't even know how to deposit that.
Great. I think that's a good place to start. My homework for you is I want you to start learning about investing. I want you to start understanding, okay, I know ex-husband used to do it, but it's now time for you to start learning, because the time is going to come where you're going to need to invest this, and you're going to want to understand it. You don't want to just hand a check for $1.1 million over to anybody and say, here, you handle this. You're going to want to say, okay, I get it. And a great place to start is here. Here at Ramsey, we do teach that investing is a better place for you to build long-term wealth than a money market account or a high yield savings account, simply because of rate of return, right? If you invest that money, you'll get a higher compound interest rate of return on that, so it'll grow faster. And so I would tell you to get hooked up with a SmartVestor Pro. They're going to have the heart of a teacher, and they're going to be able to teach you about this. And that's the key thing. Tell them, I don't want to invest anything yet. I just want to learn, right? And they're going to ultimately have you invested in a way that's 4 different types. We're spreading it out. It's not going to be high risk. It's not going to be just in a set of stocks, but I want you to understand that. So when the time comes, we are investing that check, but in the meantime, we're getting with a SmartVestor Pro to teach us. And then as far as the $715,000 401k, leave it, let it grow. You're probably going to have to do a direct transfer rollover into an IRA. And so the SmartVestor Pro is going to help you do that. And then for you, now it's all about career and what you're going to do with your life, because you're super young.
I got a couple questions on the money first. So the $715,000, how old are you?
I'm 40.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be so much money.
So the $715 that is in the 401k, and that is going to be a lot of money. What is that going to be in 30 years?
Okay. So did you tell me you're 40 now?
Yeah, she's 40.
Okay. So let's just say you retire, I don't know, let's say 65. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Okay. Let's say you add nothing to it. That right there is going to be $8 million.
Holy cow.
Just not touching it.
The reason I went to that, Susan, is because on this work thing, this may or may not be a thing now. How old are the kids?
They're 14 and 11.
Okay.
My other thing is, can I buy a house?
Yes.
Yes.
I was going to say that. I was working that.
And which money do I use?
I would take the 1.1.
The check.
The 1.1 check is what you need to do. Plus, you already have $95,000 in another savings account. So I was going to ask you, what is a modest house in a nice area? What is a house price? You know your area for you and the kiddos. What does that look like? What's the money on that?
I mean, right now there's like nothing to buy. I've been looking. I mean, there's a nice home for $500,000.
Okay, so
it's in the
let's just use that.
We need.
Let's just use as an example. Okay, so if I'm you, and then I'm going to pay cash for the house, because right now you're paying $3,600 a month in rent.
Yeah.
So you take just a little bit less than half of the 1.1, and you've got a paid for house. Now that monthly budget, which I'm using is the $15,000 you're getting in the settlement.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now that $3,600 was coming out of the $15K, it's not anymore.
Right.
And your utilities and things like that are going to be nothing. You still got the 2 kiddos in school. So I would come up with the every dollar budget and budget off of the 15, and I would do the some type of an investment strategy based on what a Smart Investor Pro tells you, because Jade already proved to you don't have to put another penny, and I'm not saying not to, but I'm guessing their investment strategy is going to be you're going to diversify some stuff, because right now you are more than fine, Susan. Like, you're going to be very, very wealthy, and based on just the 401k and what it does over time. So for me, if I were you, I would take my time. You just came out of this divorce. You've just settled. I'm fine with you renting for a little bit longer. You're saying the market right now is not a lot on the market. Let's see what happens after this presidential election. The point is, grieve, stay cool. The $3,600, while it's a little expensive, it's not even phasing you. I would take my time. I'd buy a nice house cash. And now you still have over $500,000 to invest.
And when you invest it, you're probably going to look for something that's non-retirement, something that you can get to sooner, that's in some sort of a bridge account, so that you can access it, before you're 60.
I agree with
You know
that. And that should be the advice that you
years.
get.
Right.
Yeah. But for 7 years, my goodness. But here's the deal. You're going to have some margin in that monthly as well. That's $180,000 a year for the next 7 years.
Yeah, you're good.
So from a standpoint of work, hang on the line. We'll give you the book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, and the Get Clear Assessment. But that is a relaxed, like, what would I do if I didn't have to work? Which, by the way, you don't have to.
You don't have to. I was just talking purpose.
Yeah. So sorry, we're running out of time, Susan. Hang on the line. We'll get that to you. But thank you for the call. You're going to be in good shape. This is The Ramsey Show.
From the Ramsey Network, it's The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw. Next to me is one of my favorite guys out there, Ken Coleman.
Hello, everybody.
Hosting the show together. Hey, we're talking about your life, your money. We'll throw in careers. Ken is the resident career guide. I will help you with the money. You might have some relationship issues. You can toss those in as well. The number is 888-825-5225. Call us up. We'll get you on the line. Let's dig right in. We've got Tyler. He's in Charlotte, North Carolina. What's going on, Tyler?
Hey, how are y'all?
We're doing good. How can we help today?
So I have about $2.5 million in debt between mortgages, short-term, different car loans, stuff like that. I'm aggressively paying off kind of all the debt except for the mortgages currently.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to see, and I should have that done in about a year to a year and a half based on the way I have it set up. And I'm just trying to see if I should make bigger changes and try to attack everything a little bit more aggressively and get it paid off sooner.
Yeah.
Or
Let's
if I
roll
could
it
just
back.
kind of continue the way I'm going.
Let's roll back and see where this lies. Because when you first tell me I have $2.5 million of debt, my pulse quickens. But then when you mentioned real estate, I thought, okay, that makes this a little different. So tell me about the real estate. Can you just go by property, and I'll ask you about each one. So the first property you have, is it a rental, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so first one was a duplex.
Okay.
It's worth about $260,000. I owe about $158,000 on it. So
You owe
monthly payment about
$158,000?
$1,300. Yeah,
Okay.
monthly payment about $1,300. Income's about $2,150.
Okay. So let's go to the next one.
Single family, $270,000. Asset value, debt about $159,000. Payment $1,000. Income $1,750. Okay.
And the next one?
Worth about $310,000. Debt $200,000. Payments $1,481. Income $2,200.
Okay. Is there more?
Yeah. Another single family. That one we're actually trying to sell. We have on Airbnb currently. It's worth about $540,000.
Okay.
Debt $460,000. Payment $3,600. And income about the same. I think after everything's said and done, we're probably losing about $500 a month on that one.
Okay. Anything after that? Number 5?
Yeah, we have a duplex, value $360,000, debt $205,000, payment about $1,460, income $2,800.
Okay. Anything else you want to keep going on?
Yeah, it's quite a few more.
Oh gosh. Okay, well, instead of going through these, here's what I would do if I were in your situation. I don't like that you're carrying $2.5 million of debt. And I love that you love real estate, and I love that you want to get into real estate. Here we would teach a way to do that that's in cash, and it would be you paying off your debt first and saving up to buy cash. You've gone far beyond that. And it is true that some of these may be good investments for you, but not at the tune of you being in $2.5 million of debt. So what I would do if I were in your shoes is I'd list them all out, and I'd say, which ones can I sell off in order to clear this debt out? And are there a few that in the end that I'll be able to keep that do, create some income for me? Because how many do you have total?
It's 18 units total, but we have...
mortgages. How many mortgages?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9 mortgages counting the personal property.
Okay.
One that's paid off.
So,
flipping.
Yeah, what I would do is try to get right side up on this and figure out which ones can I sell that are going to bring the right amount of profit in order for me to clear out this debt. Have you sat down to kind of figure that out yet?
Well, the problem with doing, I've thought about that in the past, but being that pretty much every one of these make a pretty good income after the debt, when I factor in selling them off to pay off the other ones, it reduces the income pretty substantially.
Is this your only income?
It's not as much income as you think. Your margins per house are actually not impressive. And I'm not saying that to be unkind. I'm saying that because I agree with Jade. And I think the best play here is to actually get rid of the duplexes. I'd sell the duplexes today. Mm-hmm. Those are just bad investments, in my opinion. But the point is, I think Jade's right. You can still come out of this thing on top. You got enough equity in these homes, just as you were listing through these, that if you sell X amount, so I would take, I'm making this up, let's say you got 8 properties, I'd take the best 4. I'd start there and go, what are the absolute best 4 properties if you're looking long term, Tyler? And I think you probably know some of these are better than others. True or false?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you pay those off, as Jay told you, now it's straight profit. But on some of these you were listing, you're like, well, my mortgage is $1,000. I'm making $1,750. That's $750 gross times 12. That's about 10 grand, a little over 10 grand. And that's actually gross. That's after your expenses and taking care of things. All I'm saying is that you're going to be better off with Jade's plan, because now you're actually making a sizable chunk and you don't owe any debt and you have no risk. I'd get out of this now. I
mean, the truth, what Ken is saying is right on. And I don't say this to be condescending in any way, but the truth is revenue minus expenses equals profit. And you're in debt. You're in the red because you owe $2.5 million. It would be very different if you're carrying all these properties and you're like, Jade, I've got, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'd be a proponent to this, but if you're like, hey, I'm carrying all this debt, but because of the way it's cash flowing, I'm in the green $2.5 million, but you're in the red.
Right.
So these are not good investments for you. What signals a good and healthy business is profit. And so what you're saying, you're cash flowing, it's not actually profit. It is what really should be happening is you need to be filtering back then in that end to pay off the debt. And so for that reason, what Ken said, what I said before, is your way out of this. I want you in the green, and I want you doing deals that end with a net profit, and that's not what's taking place here.
Could 4 of these pay off the other 4? Just gut check real quick.
Well, I have, so there's 2. Well, if I take my personal property out of here, that reduces it down to about $1.75 million in mortgages, and then the value would be somewhere around $2.7 million.
Yeah,
so we have about $1 million in.
Man, okay, so let me paint a different picture for you. Let's just real numbers. Okay, let's say that you now have $1 million. $1 million. And now you're paying off your personal home, no debt in your life at all, and now you've got real cash flow plus cash. Why is that not the better play in your mind? 0 risk.
Yeah, and your place is paid.
Yeah. Is that not a better vision? If you don't agree, you just have to what? You're acting like this is impossible.
Well, the thing is, we just crumbled your empire. Like I sense that, you've acquired this over time.
Yeah, but those 4 are going to spit off how much? That's what I'm trying to get you to. Let's say you were left with 4 houses.
You got cash, plus they're spitting off, the four left are going to spit off what? How much per month?
I would have to see which one's the
run those numbers
best here, but if just off the top of my head, we're probably looking at like if I just say 3, they equal up close to that. It'd probably be somewhere around, I don't know, 6,000 or so.
Okay, but that's real money now.
Yes.
That's $72,000 in the clear.
Mm-hmm.
Not paying any debt. You'll have some expenses on that.
Yeah, the truth is, Ken is right. If there's anything good about any of these investments, you should be able to sell off some of them, pocket some cash, get your residence paid for, and keep some of the properties. That's what should be happening here. If for some reason you can't sell these to clear the debt, then something really is wrong. This is The Ramsey Show.
All right, Dave, you have some strong opinions.
Possibly, yeah.
I think so. Okay, because you really prefer credit unions over big banks.
Well, credit unions, for one thing, are nonprofit, which means that the members, the customers, own the credit union. So any profits that the credit union makes goes back into customer pricing. So you get better interest rate on savings, cheaper checking, and so on, that kind of thing. But that's what's more important than that, though, is the fact that the customer is the owner changes the spirit on the credit union. So I find very few credit unions that aren't very customer-centric.
Well, and I think we have found one that is incredible, and that's Fairwinds. They are an incredible credit union that is really out with the heart to help the customer.
They're the right kind of people with the right kind of values. And they've done a really, really good job with customer service. And the deals that they're offering, the Ramsey Tribe, is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it. The things that we teach, they so line up with. And you're right, their customer service is unbelievable. Winston and I just signed up and we got an account.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. It took less than 5 minutes. It was so user-friendly. Like the step-by-step approach was unbelievable. And then the next day, my phone rings and it says Fairwinds on my phone. So I answered it and talked to someone there and they said, yeah, they give calls to every new customer. And so again, they just really care about your experience. And I so appreciate that. Plus, anything that you can do at a traditional branch, you can do with them at fairwinds.org or on their app. And you'll have free access to over 33,000 ATMs.
Hey, you guys know how much I hate banks in general. And so for me to do this is a big deal. Talk to our friends at Fairwinds and check out the combined checking and savings bundle that they created just for the Ramsey Tribe. You guys, it's incredible.
Yeah, you guys, it's so easy to join Fairwinds no matter where you live. So go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey.
All right, who needs some help out there? You're just going, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be with my money. I'm not where I want to be in my relationships. I'm not where I want to be in my professional journey. If that's you, no shame in your game, number one. And number two, we'd love to help. We being Jade Warshaw, my colleague, co-host, and friend. And I'm Ken Coleman. We're Ramsey Personalities, and we're here for you. This is a listener, viewer show. We are here for you. We take your questions, 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Let's go to Detroit now. Kendall is there. Kendall, how can we help?
Hi, nice to talk with you today.
You too. What's going on?
So I just graduated medical school about a half a year ago.
Hey, cool. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. So I have about 3.5 years left. Obviously, a residency salary is about $60,000. I have about $220 in student debt, but no other debt in my life. So my plan is, I can't pay off my debt while I'm a resident. I don't make enough. But when I graduate, I was going to live off of $40,000, pay off my debt in 2 years. But my question is, I don't have any money saved for retirement, and I'll be 33 when I start making six figures. So should I prioritize paying off my debt, or should I start saving more for retirement?
Well, Jade's going to help you on that, but I'm just real curious. What do you think that starting salary is? And what do you think the range is maybe in the first couple years?
270 to 300, most likely.
Jade. You can do something with that, can't you, Coach?
Listen, I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I'm very excited too.
You should be. I'm excited for you. You've got this big milestone, coming up. You've got 3.5 years left of med school, so that's cool. So luckily, you came out of this with only $20,000 of student loans. Can I just quickly ask you?
No, 220.
220.
Yeah,
what?
220. I caught that one. Woo!
Listen, I'm glad I asked because I was like, how in the world did you do that? All right, so you've got 220 of student loans, nothing else, right?
Yes, nothing else.
Okay. And we've got a couple more years of 60,000 salary, 60 to 80,
Yep.
or just 60?
Yeah, like 60 to 70 probably.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. They're not going to become due until after you graduate, right? And then you've got, well, are they going to be, does your residency count for that, or is it separate?
So I'm on an income-based repayment plan and also the SAVE plan. So
Okay.
like typically they gain $1,000 a month of interest, but those two plans allow me to pay $233, and the government pays the rest of the interest. So they're not going to grow in residency, and I only have to pay $233 a month. But when I graduate, that'll change.
Okay. Got it. I would try to pay as much as you can with the salary that you have. I mean, that's all that you can do. But what I really want to address is the fact that you said that you're only 33 years old, and you'll be 33 when it's time to retire, or when it's time to start saving for retirement. You don't want to be behind. And whenever I hear that, I kind of just want to let people know, like, I've been there. And, when my husband and I were paying off our student loan debt, which was about $280,000, we didn't finish that until we were around your age, 33, pregnant with my son, and we hadn't started investing at all. And I kind of want you to understand that you're going to be okay. So let's just pretend. I love doing the investment calculator. So let's just play around here. How old are you? Can I ask?
Yeah, I'm 29 right now.
Oh my goodness, you're 29. So let's just say, I'm going to plug this in. We have a really cool investment calculator. And I'm just going to say, let's pretend you're 29 years old now. Let's pretend that you plan to retire at age 62. Let's just say that. And you have zero in retirement now, right? And let's just say, because you're saving for a home, you're not investing the whole 15% that we would advise when the time comes. So let's say you're investing 10%, so $2,700 a month. Fair? Are you tracking with me?
Yep.
Okay. So we're doing $2,700. I'm plugging that in, and let's just be very conservative and say an 8% annualized rate of return. Let's calculate that and see what that'll be. So when the time comes, you'll have over $5 million.
Oh, okay.
$5 million.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I think you're going to be all right.
Never thought of it.
I think you're going to be just fine. So that's what I want you to leave here with is, all right, I've got time. I'm working, I'm doing the MD thing. I'm paying as much as I can. Once I hit this salary, I'll be able to knock out whatever remains. I'll save up 3 to 6 months of expenses in baby step 3. And by then, like I said, you might be wanting to save for a down payment too. And that's baby step 3B. And that comes before you start investing. So you've got time, and you might start to do baby step 3B and baby step 4, which is investing 15% at the same time. Whatever you choose there, you're going to be fine. $5 million, that makes me sleep a lot better at night, Ken.
And those numbers, and by the way, Kendall, those numbers are going to be way bigger than that. She was just going real conservative here.
That's if you never make any more money.
Yeah,
like
you're going to pay off
your starting
debt.
salary.
What, 2 years? You pay off your debt, then you got your emergency fund after that. You save for a house. Let's just say you don't start investing until 36. Again, not an issue because of the amount of money that your 15% represents. And the compound interest is insane. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. That's the point. I know that's the whole thing that you called about. You're not too late. You aren't going to be destitute. You're going to be very, very wealthy.
Is it just you, Kendall?
Right now, it's just me. I'm still figuring that out.
Yeah.
But so that's a great point, Jade. That doesn't take into account a double income. Oh, by the way, you know what else it doesn't take into account? All the money you're going to make on a house because you're going to put a really big chunk down and you're going to pay it off. And so
you're going to have a pay for a house when you retire as well.
I got to tell you, Kendall, I'd be shocked if you don't do what we tell you to do if you're not in the 10 million range by the time you're 65. Be shocked.
That's incredible.
And I'm not making that up, am I?
Such security. Yeah.
I don't think that's a stretch.
No, I don't think that's a stretch.
So you've got this. You got it?
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah,
follow the plan. Hey, do you have any of our products? You got any books or anything that you kind of lean on?
I don't. My sister went through your program, and she normally just talks to me about all of this kind of stuff. But I don't have any.
I want to give you something, Jade. Let's give her something to kind of cement this so that she can see the process. For sure, Total Money Makeover.
Yeah, Total Money Makeover. And hey, I want you to head to everydollar.com/Jade, and I want you to pick up Every Dollar Premium, and it'll give you $15 off. And what I love about Every Dollar Premium is you can kind of, the same way that I plugged in your numbers and gave you that snapshot of what your investing future could look like, we've got a financial roadmap planner on there that you can plug in all sorts of numbers to figure out where you want to be and where you're going to meet certain milestones. So you can plug in numbers to figure out how long it would take you to save 3 to 6 months of expenses, or how long it would take you to save up for a home, those sorts of things. So we'll make sure you have that, and I think she's all set.
Kendall, you're a rock star. Okay, Jade, we got about a minute here. We got new people coming in all the time, so I think it's really good to revisit what is a really sensible question.
Yes.
And that is, I've got all this debt, and if it takes me 6 years or 5 years or 4 years to pay it off, I'm so far behind the 8 ball in investing. Why do we teach that the way we do that we clear debt first before we invest? Explain that to newcomers who might still be going, really?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons, a lot of good reasons. The first reason is your income is your biggest wealth building tool. Like that's a Dave Ramsey classic quote right there. You need your income available in order to be able to invest it. And for most of us, we're living paycheck to paycheck. Like we don't have any money left at the end of the month, but after we've paid our bills, our car note, we've got groceries, we paid the kids' daycare. Most of us don't feel like we have that breathing room because we have so many debts and bills. So the first step is to clear that out. So you get your money back in your budget, and then you save up 3 to 6 months, because if you don't save first and you start investing right away, if an emergency comes, you start pulling from your retirement, or you start using credit cards and you go back into debt. So you pay off the debt, you build up the savings, and then, and only then, we start investing. And that's the way it works. If you start doing it out of order, you start messing yourself up, Ken.
And you just proved it. Once you start that investing, compound interest becomes your best pal.
Ooh-wee.
And so it can work. You're not too late. Trust the process. It works. We're so glad you've joined us. She's Jade Warshaw. I'm Ken Coleman. This is The Ramsey Show.
I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I've taken are from situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady, and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out, how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? And it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like when you have to think through, how am I going to pay my bills?
How am I going to eat next week?
Yeah, in the middle of all that grief. Like it's terrible. And so life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like so big on for people to get, because it's inexpensive. Xander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance, and we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much, because Xander shops among a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud, and you got to say, I'm going to say I love you to my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. The cost of a stinking pizza.
It really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you to your family.
So we've used Xander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Xander.com.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show, where we talk to you about you. Your money, your work, your relationships is our goal. We want you to win in all 3. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me. And the phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225. Try not to say too many things at once when you're live on the air sometimes.
It's tough sometimes.
Every once in a while I get on a roll a little too fast. It is time for today's question of the day, brought to you by Why Refi. Now, we do not recommend refinancing on everything, but for distressed private student loans, there is Why Refi. We trust Why Refi because they help you with a low fixed interest rate you couldn't get anywhere else, and it's going to help you stick to your budget and get out of debt. Learn more at whyrefi.com/Ramsey. That's the letter Y. REFY.com/Ramsey. May not be available in all states.
All right. Today's question comes from Ken in Mississippi.
My man.
All right. He says, I had a work performance evaluation after being at my current company for 6 months. I got nothing but attaboys and received no criticism for the job I'm doing. Then they offered me a 50-cent raise per hour. I just wanted to know how you guys felt about that after a performance review of nothing but great feedback. Am I being selfish, or should I just accept it for what it is and hope for better compensation next time?
Well, Ken, you are being selfish. But selfish in this particular interpretation, Jade, is not bad.
No, you got to look out for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for picking that up.
Of course.
That word selfish gets a really negative thing. But when it comes to your money,
nobody's
your
looking
compensation, you are your agent. You are your manager.
That's right.
This is your livelihood. So all of the feels around this scenario are what I would call absolutely normal, dare I say healthy.
That's good.
In other words, he gets a good review. He's sitting there and he's getting all positive.
Attaboy.
And then they go... I love how you dramatize it, even in the question. It was like, I think she was in a few dramas in plays when she was in school. And so in this situation, Jade, it's a shot to the chest. 50 cents.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. If you don't feel something when you get a 50-cent raise,
it's a little insulting.
Then something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
And so I would say, Ken, you are being what I would call properly selfish in recognizing real feelings that should feel that way, because I'm objective. I have no skin in this, and I would feel that way if I put myself in your shoes. So now let's get to the second part of this. Should you accept it? I don't know, because here's what I would be asking. And so I'm going to play your agent.
Okay.
All right? I'm going to be your agent, and then I'm going to give it to my assistant agent over. If Jade and I are agenting for you, I'm going to say, I want to find out, is that a normal raise? The average in the United States, and this is not a law, but if you look at the numbers, annual raises usually fall between 3% and 4%. Again, no one's beholden to that number. 50-cent raise is really, really low.
That's right.
So the question becomes, Ken, why is it only 50 cents? Is the company struggling?
Good question.
You got to ask that.
That's a good question.
And if the company's struggling, we all got to tighten the belt in our personal budgets. And so I'd want to know why only 50 cents and dig into that. And then you have to decide from there, okay, that's the now answer. But I want to look at next, because I don't want to keep feeling this way.
That's right.
Because you keep showing up year after year and you feel this way.
It's not good for you.
It's not good for you. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a good question, Ken. If you ask and say, "Hey, what's going on?" You know, I've done some research. I know the standard. Is the company doing all right? And let's say he says, "Well, you know, no, we're not." Da 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 da. Then it's like, okay, well, am I up for the ride of sticking it out until the
last part of his question?
Yeah.
Should I hope for better compensation next time?
No, brother. It's getting lower. It's only going lower from here, probably.
I don't like hope when it comes to compensation.
Yeah.
Do you?
I love hope. And I think in this case, there's probably a lot more fish in the sea that have fatter pockets when it's time for
look at you and the mixed metaphors.
Time.
That was strong.
Yeah, fatter gills.
We got to find some fish with fatter gills. That's good.
Truly, though,
I'm with you. I don't want hope in that.
Yeah.
I want to put my hope in me and the Lord and action. I'm not going to put hope in, well, it was 50 cents this year.
Well, Ken, talk about motivation.
Gee, I hope they bump it to $1.25 next year.
Talk about the role that that sort of thing plays in the motivation of the worker.
Okay, so if you feel as though you've been devalued, it's a slippery slope to where you devalue yourself.
That's good.
That's what
very
happens.
good. So you're saying he would start doing things to throw himself. Yeah.
Well, you start questioning. I'm only worth 50 cents?
That's good.
That's tough stuff.
That is tough.
But that's the real. So anyway, sorry about that, Ken. I would be looking for greener pastures if it were me.
I agree.
But, again, and by the way, anybody in that situation, can I just say this very quickly? Get the Get Clear assessment in the book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do. It's one purchase price. Get the book. And I'm going to tell you something. Lay it over. Take the results of the assessment. Read the book. It's a 45-minute read. For this reason, Jade, it'll help people go, where could I go?
Yes.
Where are my possibilities? I'm not stuck. This is not the only thing I can do. Gosh, that's a really important theme for me, is for people to see I got options. Even when you can't see them, I promise you have got options.
So that book is really going to infuse you with the confidence to know
100%.
It's not just that. That's not my only Yeah, I love
it's
that.
It's about
Ken.
self-awareness. And by the way, on the other side of self-awareness is confidence. You cannot be confident if you aren't aware.
That's true.
So there you go. Just a quick, that's why I put that resource out. It's a fabulous little resource. So there you go. All right, to the phones we go. Ed is up in Columbia, South Carolina. Ed, how can we help?
Hey, Ken and Jay, thanks for taking my call.
Sure, what's up?
I just have a question about paying off a mortgage. And until I wouldn't have made this call, I knew the answer in listening to your show and listening to Dave. But I was notified that my job is being downsized October 1st.
Oh, man, I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. And the thing about it is I still want to pay off the house, but I'm concerned that I should leave the cash in case we need it.
Give Jade the numbers real quick. Walk her through the numbers.
Okay. What do you want me to walk you through the mortgage?
Just
how much is the payoff?
Yeah.
Okay, our payoff is $113,000. The house is worth $400,000.
Okay.
And my wife and I, in the last 2 years, have saved $190,000 in our savings.
Okay.
What of that is your emergency fund?
And it's not. I don't. If I was going to take the emergency fund out of that, it would be $50,000.
Okay. So it's 140.
139.
You got 140 up for grabs.
Yep.
And that leaves you with $50K there. Typically what we would say in a time like this where you're kind of in a crisis mode, I would tell you not to do anything major like jump into sums of money. How quickly do you think you can find new work? And is your wife also working? Those are my two questions.
My wife is working. I work two side hustles. I listen to Dave a lot, so I started working two side hustles to save to pay off the house.
So will you be able to, if you keep those two side hustles, your wife works, and you get laid off, is that enough to cover the bills and cover your life if you pay off the mortgage?
100%. We're debt free. Our cars are. We don't owe anything but the mortgage and our net worth.
I do it.
I think so too.
I do it. You've still got $50,000. You're still able to make your bills even without this job.
That's right.
And now you're lowering your expenses by not having a mortgage. It's just taxes and insurance. Yeah, I do that.
You getting a severance of any type?
No, they didn't. They don't do that.
All right,
no.
but you know what? You got a head start.
You're right.
That's right, baby. Listen, I'd be looking for a job as soon as you hang up the phone.
100%.
I already have been, and I'm fortunate. I'm a professional salesperson, but I also have a lot of experience in retail.
Great.
Hey,
so
you guys are awesome.
Listening to you guys, I'll be at Walmart or Target or Costco.
Come on.
Pay
the house off, Jade says.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Okay.
You've done an excellent job, and this is the fruit of your labor. Good job.
And
You guys kept me off the ledge, and I wouldn't be in this situation if I didn't listen to your show. So
well, good.
I
You like
appreciate it.
you like country music?
I do.
You ever heard of an old guy named Johnny Paycheck?
I know who he is. Yeah.
Download his song when we hang up. It's called "Take This Job and Shove It."
You can take this job and shove it.
Because he's paid his house off.
I know, right? Come
I'd
on.
be like, hey, you guys let me go? Guess what I did?
Yeah.
I paid my house off. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, come on, man. That's real financial peace. That's why we do what we do. Ed, you're the poster child. We're happy for you. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined in studio by Jade Warshaw, 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. All right, let's see. We've got our Ramsey Network app question, and this is from Gabriel. He asks, can you really win money with apps like Bingo Winner and Mr. Beast's new app, or is it a scam? Also, I was wondering if Acorns and Robinhood
What's happening?
I'm sorry, are good investment options. I'm 50 years old. I don't know what Bingo Winner is, and I barely know who Mr. Beast is. So I'm unqualified to even answer this question because I don't even know what that means.
I'm going to
Can you win money with their apps? I don't have the foggiest idea. Anybody in there? Anybody? Zach, Kelly, do you know what they're talking? I have no idea. Okay.
The last game I played was Words with Friends, and there was no option to win money. So I'm guessing it's one of these apps, like a Candy Crush.
The only app that I play in is a fantasy football, and that has nothing to do with any of this. That's just me.
Can I give a hot take?
Yes, please bail me out because I don't know how to answer this question.
All right, this is good. This is controversial, and I own that.
Oh boy, I am here for this.
I'm gonna get heat for this. I feel like if you have time to play games on your phone, something's wrong. Like, who has if you're out working and crushing it and taking care of your family, you don't have time to play games on your phone.
I have zero problem with this. This is not controversial to me.
And to put money into
here's
it,
my phone right here. I have no game apps on my phone, so I feel like I'm in Jade's good stead right now.
And I'm like, I can't understand that.
Yeah.
I can't watch a show, watch a show with your spouse or read a book, but to spend money, have a conversation, but to spend money on a game inside your phone that's called Bingo Winner.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't know if it's a scam, but you should not be spending your time on it. There's no ROI on your time, and I'll bet there's not much ROI on the money.
No.
And then I was wondering if Acorns and Robinhood are good investment options. Robinhood is an investment platform.
Yeah.
We are very clear at Ramsey Solutions what our investment strategy is. I'll hand it to my colleague to give a very quick, give a 60-second investment strategy. That would be our answer to any of this.
Yeah, I don't like these apps because they really they're really more about trading and the idea of I'm putting a little bit here, but I can move it at any time, and that's not our strategy. We are long-term investors. We are people who dollar cost average. We are people who set it and forget it and keep it there for a long period of time. And so that's why I don't like these apps, because they don't promote that. So I would invest with my 401k through my job, or I'd be a part of a brokerage and have my Roth IRA.
I got to confess, I just put the old readers on.
Look at the graphic. Look at the graphic on that thing.
I just typed in Bingo Winner app, and boy, talk about getting me in trouble.
Yeah.
Anything that looks like that is designed to suck the brain right out of your head. That's my ruling on that.
It looks like it's designed to keep you addicted, whatever it is. So
let me tell you what I know. Successful millionaires aren't spending a lot of time on Bingo Win.
There you go, Ken.
So now I've got a ruling. Okay, now we can move on. Thank goodness.
Wow, that was something, wasn't it?
I'm never getting that time back. Neither are you.
No, I'm not.
Matthew is up in Austin, Texas. Matthew, how can we help?
How y'all doing?
Well, we're better now.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
We're thrilled about your question. What is it?
You sound like y'all always got it together, son. Just need your help thinking. I'm supposed to get married here in a couple of weeks.
Ooh.
Okay?
Congrats.
Thanks there. But yikes, kind of. And it has mainly to do with kids. I've got kids and how my new wife interacts. I guess the question being, how much does my new wife have say-so into how I raise my kids, spend money on my kids, and that type of thing? Because I'm really kind of struggling with it.
All right, real quick question, because my colleague is loaded up, ready to go. I want to know this. How long have you two been dating?
2 years.
2 years. And in the 2 years, has there been moments of tension based on her maybe stepping into some situations that the kids weren't really cool with, or you weren't cool with, or there have been some comments? I'm just giving you what I mean when I say moments. Have there been several moments of tension that lead to this concern?
There's enough.
I knew the answer to that. Yeah, my friend.
Yeah.
I would just say this. This needs to be settled in premarital counseling stat.
How old are the kids?
Immediately.
They're not young, and so I got two in college. I have one that's a teenager.
Well, the two in college, that's a non-factor. She doesn't get to say anything about that.
And how old's the teenager?
She's 16. But, for example, like when the subject comes up, and I don't like saying this, and I know it's probably wrong, but I say I'm a dad first if you make me choose. Is that a wrong thing to say?
Yes.
Yeah, because you're treating it like she's expendable, and technically, now I know this is different, and I am going to step lightly on this, but typically when you get married, it's the marriage first.
That's why I said what I said.
And then it's the kids. Now, also traditionally, the person you're married to is the person you've had children with. So it's easier to make that statement, and I want to hang out there. It is easier to make that statement when that's the case. In your case, I don't think it makes it any less true, but I think it makes it more difficult to stand on that. Ken?
I agree. I'm going to default to you called us because you've got some real fear. And I'm glad you called us. If for no other reason than I'm telling you as a guy who went through premarital counseling, and I've been married 26 years, long enough to know that had Stacey and I not been on the same page about the major things, I don't know that we're here.
Same.
You know?
Yes.
And so I'm just saying that, Matthew, you need to invest time and money into premarital counseling to sit with a professional therapist and get this stuff out on the table. Like, you've got to say, she has created this tension here. I feel like she stepped over here. She needs to be able to say, I didn't like it when you said I'm a dad first. Like, we got to get this all out before we lock in.
And then there's the kids side of this too.
There is the kid side of it, but they got to solve it between the two of them first. You got to know what life is going to look like day one. Now, we manage those decisions after that.
She's nice to my kids. That's not it. But we're kind of different when things come up like, well, I go, she's like, well, if they're 22, they're going to be on their own. Like, I'm like, well, yeah, but I sure hope so. But what if something happens and they need to move back in? You know, that kind of thing. Then
again,
those things come up. Or are you going to pay for their master's degrees too, instead of us going to Hawaii for vacation? It's some like, well, wait a minute. Okay,
so she's got to realize that there's a whole life here, and there's other people.
These are good questions.
She's marrying into the family, not just you. And that's the case with anybody. You marry into the family, you marry into the situation, whatever it is. So I think that you guys, Ken is right. There's a lot that must be discussed before this happens.
And Matthew, look.
I only got 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Is this a big fancy wedding when we got a lot of people coming and a lot of money being spent?
No, but I can't move it. It's not moving. So
you know what?
I appreciate Matthew. He's going, listen, Ken, I know where you're going, pal. I don't want to walk down that path.
I would.
I'd press pause.
I would, because what I don't want, I would never want you to feel like you don't have a choice, or like once the wheels are in motion, you can't, put a wood stick in it and grind it to a halt. You can. You have choices still. You have a lot less choices once you say I do.
I agree. I'd get a session in at least and talk about these majors. I really would before the wedding. But can I also say that if she says, hey, are you going to pay for their master's degree, or are we going to go to Hawaii? The answer is, where is my grass skirt? That's what the answer is. The kids can pay for their master's degree. Go with mama to Hawaii, man.
Aloha.
Come on.
I thought you were going in a different direction with that.
No, kids need to pay for their own master's.
No, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you said what you said.
This is the Ramsey Show.